Welcome to the Pre-Diabetes Wellness Podcast. I am your host, Erica Natasha. This is an audio-first space created for women who want support with blood sugar, food, and everyday choices without overwhelm. Everything here is designed to fit into real life, so you can listen while you walk, drive, or just take a moment for yourself. Let's get into the episode. Welcome back to Pre-Diabetes Wellness Podcast, and I'm your host, Erica Natasha. And today's episode is a little bit different. We just wrapped up the Simple Swap series, and after recording all of those episodes, I realized something interesting. The biggest lesson wasn't complicated at all. The biggest lesson was that small changes really do add up. Before I started this series, I used to think about change in big terms, like big gestures, big plans, big overhauls. But what swaps reminded me, and honestly taught me again, is that real change usually happens in the smallest way. A lot of the things I talked about during this series are things I've started implementing more intentionally in my life. For example, I've always loved popcorn, but now I am more intentional about it. I make air-popped popcorn, or I buy a brand that only has 3 ingredients: coconut oil, salt, and the popcorn itself. It's simple, it's satisfying, and it works better for blood sugar. Another example is sparkling water. I wasn't really a big soda drinker to begin with, but now I reach for sparkling water much more often when I need to hydrate. Quinoa is another one. I've always had quinoa and rice in my pantry, but now I cook quinoa more often because I understand how helpful that fiber can be. What I realized through this series is that a lot of these foods were already in my life. They were already in my pantry. I just wasn't really using them as intentional as I could have been. So Simple Swaps didn't require me to completely change my lifestyle. It simply helped me to lean more into the better options that were already there. And that's the real message of this series. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to give up everything you enjoy. Sometimes it's just about choosing the option that supports you a little bit more, one swap at a time. And now that's the beauty of Simple Swaps. They're small, but they're powerful. And over time, these small choices can make a real difference in your energy, your blood sugar, and how you feel day to day. Be well.